Hey guys, so you probably noticed I am not anywhere in my usual spots. I'm not even inside. I'm sitting out on a playground. This is, a very small playground in the neighborhood I usually come to. Just kind of, I don't know, when I need some time to breathe, just relieve stress or anything like that. I don't know. It's just kind of it's a good place to be. Sorry I didn't make this yesterday like I promised. Basically, like, my topic lately has been anxiety, as you could tell by that semi-coherent rant I posted last week. But I definitely want to get more in-depth about it, considering the fact that the only reason I didn't post last night was I decided to... I'm throwing a few pebbles, just so you know. I decided to deal with it by drinking a little bit. First of all, that's not something I recommend anyone do for anxiety, depression, or any issues going on in their life. It's just not a good thing to try to turn to. What I decided to do is make a series of videos about anxiety, general topics, and maybe, I don't know, talking about some myths about it. For today, I think I'm just gonna brush on what is anxiety and a kind of a subcontext of it, what anxiety is for me. Before I start, I'm gonna say that anxiety can be different for everybody, so I'm sorry if my definition doesn't match your definition. I'm just going through my experiences, not really looking at any technical terms here. Nor am I really going to go into any subcategories such as social anxiety. I'm just going to try to do umbrella-ish statements, stuff like that. So to start with, what is anxiety? Anxiety is more or less an exaggerated fear of what's coming up, what could happen, what is happening. Basically, you'll take little tiny things and you'll blow them up like a big huge balloon based on what you think is going to happen. Like I mentioned, there are different types of anxieties, but we're just, like I said, focusing on the umbrella term and what I've experienced through anxiety. For me, anxiety is mostly, like I mentioned in my raw vlog, just fear of, who really cares about me, who's really my friend. And that's been happening since probably a little before I hit puberty, and it hasn't stopped since. Puberty the first time around, I mean. Like 12, 13-year-old me. I will read the tiniest signs and think that everything is fucked up. And basically my mind goes right to, what did I do now? What did I do? When in reality, nothing. I really didn't do anything, and I'm just blowing shit way out of proportion. I have to keep reminding myself all these little things, like, I know stuff's going on with him. I know that he doesn't usually have long-ass intimate Facebook conversations. And just everything. And even with all the little details in my mind, half the time, it doesn't click for me. Like, I have to try to force it into my head that this is what it really is. And half the time, it just doesn't really click genuinely for me until after the fact. So because of my anxiety, I have had many fallouts of friendships, a couple of relationship fallouts, because I just didn't feel like I was getting the whole truth from anybody. I will literally sit for hours, and just my mind will go into that dark recesses of, this is what's happening. I'll just have it all play out in front of me, as if it's really happening, and then when I kind of bring myself back eventually, at least to the now, it basically feels like I'm yanking myself out of a deep pool of water to come up for air when I'm about to pass out from lack of oxygen. It's the weirdest thing, it's not easy at all. Also, another thing is that a lot of people who suffer anxiety can have a form of clinginess, and that can stem from the anxiety of they have this good thing in their life, they gotta hold on to everything, and if one little thing is fucking up with this, then that means everything's fucked, they can't let that happen. I know, I've been there myself. I've been that clingy person. Sometimes I still am, and I'm just really, really concerned that it fucks up. So basically, I fuck up because I'm concerned about fucking up. And then I get concerned about fucking up because I fucked up. So it's a whole vicious cycle, and it's not fun. Not in the least. Now, everyone can get anxiety about something. They could get terrified of something in their lives, the possibility of something, but having an anxiety disorder is kind of different from just then having anxiety about one specific thing. For me, I definitely have an anxiety disorder. I have been formally diagnosed. It was pretty much one of the only things that were actually correctly diagnosed in my life. I've suffered it for quite a long time, and it plagues me pretty much. It plagues me almost every day. I've done things like toying with the idea of going back to self-harm, and it's... God, this is actually a very tough video for me to make. It can cause me to have a lot of trouble dealing with major sudden changes in my life, because I have a habit of just kind of having these nice ideas of what's going to happen in my life in my head, and I tend to cling to them, because, there we go, clinginess, because I really want that stuff to happen. I want to be able to have a life where I can go through it pleasantly and have good stuff. And I see stuff, you know, on that track, and then something changes and the train switches tracks or even jumps the track. And while that can be just devastating for anybody, it basically brings my world to a screeching halt on a dime. I definitely have seen a lot of similar types of symptoms with friends I've talked with. Though, like I've said, anxiety is not the same experience for everyone, just like any mental disorder is not the same for everyone. Oh, that one got some distance. Having anxiety while you suffer gender dysphoria as well is not... It's not fun. I know I'm going to throw that phrase around a lot, but it's not fun. Recently, at school, I was misgendered. Literally for an hour, 2 hours after that, I'm like sitting there thinking, wow, I'm a year on testosterone. Most people who just know me for 2 seconds, like I'll walk into Starbucks and order a coffee and the barista will call me sir. I no longer get weird looks when I walk into the men's section at a clothing store. Even a prof who just met me this semester, before I had my legal name change, forgot I had a name other than Bailey. So I'm sitting there, my mind is just fucking rattled, so is my whole fucking world. Really much my thoughts for this hour are, oh my god, if she doesn't see me as a guy, I wonder who else doesn't see me as a guy. Holy shit, does that mean the rest of the world will never see me as a guy? What is going on? Probably never going to achieve the way I want to look. Probably never going to really be able to advance in life because of it. Because it's obvious that this whole world is just fucking against me. I keep getting misgendered and it just keeps going to throw me off. Is this even... what is happening? Maybe she's doing it out of spite, because I mean everyone pretty much knows everyone in the school. So, is she doing it out of spite? Is she doing it just to be a bitch? Is she gonna have a whole bunch of people on my ass because of it all the time? What? Like, basically, I was thinking that way for a good solid hour, 2 hours. When later on, she actually took me aside and apologized later, saying that she's had a lot of friends who are feminine-ish looking, but will masculine present. It really didn't make things any better with the idea that I don't really think I'm that feminine looking anymore, especially the voice. I don't know, it threw a lot of stuff out of whack for me, for that day at least. So basically, just the whole idea of anxiety coupled with gender dysphoria, it makes it a lot worse. There's so many freaking rocks here, like, missed the slide. So I want to try to do more of these videos where I'm pretty much talking about a series of anxiety. I want to touch base on things about some common forms of anxiety, not just, you know, the umbrella term. Of course, tips on how to deal with it. I really want you guys to give me your tips on how you deal with it, and maybe I'll uncover some common myths of anxiety and, you know, talk to you guys about it. Also, what might help is helping someone during an anxiety attack. That is a huge one. Alright, so for now, guys, again, I'm sorry for the lateness of this video. I'm sorry, I'm just sitting here throwing rocks. Some good news, me and Maura did make it into the Disney Showcase. I definitely sang better at the actual audition than I did on Friday, due to the fact that Friday I think I was dry as a bone in my throat and exhausted, so that didn't help. More or less, I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Later.